and welcome to Blytheway Business News. We are here today with Spinnaker. They are a listed shell on the Standard Exchange, and they are listed to acquire a medical cannabis company. And here to tell us about their acquisition is Andy Morrison, Chairman. Hello, Andy, and thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Bonnie.
So you've just made an acquisition, or you're in the process of finalizing it, and please tell us about that acquisition.
So we announced back at the end of February that we'd reached an outline agreement with a company called Cannabo Research Limited, which is a medicinal cannabis company, and we're currently in the process of doing all the paperwork for the prospectus and working through that, and we hope to be able to publish that before too long.
And when do you expect this acquisition to close? Do you have a time frame?
It's as soon as possible, really. There's a considerable amount of work that needs to be done between making an announcement of an intention and then actually closing it out. And it's a sector, of course, in medicinal cannabis which will have plenty of scrutiny, but also I think a sector which is growing very quickly. And our experience with Cannabo is that the business is growing all the time. And one of our challenges actually is to get them to stop growing for a minute long enough that we can actually take a picture of it and make a prospectus. So it's as soon as possible is what we're aiming for.
And how did you come to discover Cannabo and develop a relationship with them?
Well, we were introduced to Cannabo through one of the corporate finance houses that we work with, Peterhouse Capital. We'd been looking since the middle of last year for a suitable cannabis venture. We particularly liked Cannabo because of the breadth of their activities, it's not simply a growing venture, a cultivation venture, but has a downstream business. That is to say, it's working on how to deliver the medicinal cannabis and the similar products to patients. So we liked the breadth of the business, but I think above all, especially when you're looking for at early stage businesses, it's often comes down to the management team. And with Aviu and his team, we felt that we'd come across a group who were truly experts in their field, and that would be able to adapt to the situation of the regulatory environment as it unfolds. And so we felt really confident that we were investing in a business that knew how to grow and would have the skills to do so.
Would you be looking for other acquisitions, or will this be your only one?
As far as Spinnaker is concerned, this is our only one. We're a cash shell. We make a reverse takeover, and then effectively we hand over the keys to the management of the new company. I'll probably stay on as a non-executive director to provide continuing connection to the London market, and then it'll be up to the enlarged business to decide how to proceed. But obviously, one of the reasons for being a public company is to be able to have the opportunity to use the paper, the shares, as a currency in further transactions. So I don't see us. I don't see the company making a rash of such acquisitions, but it certainly is something which could happen down the road, if you like, once we've established the business and got it more operational within Europe.
And is one of the reasons that you were looking at the cannabis sector is because you've seen how the growth in North America has developed in that sector?
I think, yes, in the middle of last year, we did see that, and we were presented with an opportunity in the cannabis space, which we didn't ultimately take forward, but we could see the growth in North America, and we felt that there would be an opportunity to help pioneer this into the European market. I think the markets will perhaps grow on a slightly different trajectory than each other, but certainly there's an enormous appetite in Europe amongst customers. There's a demand for the products, and amongst investors as well to get involved in a new and exciting industry.
It is a great idea that you went on the medical device side of the cannabis sector, because obviously what we've seen in North America is when they've gone on the farm extraction side of things, there's a lot of competition in that space, and only, I guess, a few of them will be very profitable. Is that part of the reason you looked at medical device as opposed to other areas in the cannabis sector?
Absolutely. I think we wanted to have a business that was robust into the sort of longer term, if you like. And I think cultivation, it might last longer than people think, because there's a lot to the cultivation business as well. From our point of view, it's about security of supply. But ultimately, I think the winners are likely to be the companies that can develop brands and develop the confidence of physicians to prescribe medicinal products. And that's why we very much like the device and formulation approach that Cannabo have been pioneering.
And I guess you're out right now visiting and talking to investors about the potential of the company for the potential IPO coming up.
In a way, that's one of the things we can't do right now, oddly enough, because once we've now said that we're working on the prospectus, and until we do actually publish the prospectus, there's very little we can actually say about what it's going to contain. But Cannabo is an existing business, and we're very much wanting them to continue to promote the development of that business, and to. So I think what you'll hear from us is our participation in the industry, if you like. But what you won't hear from us until we publish the prospectus is much details about exactly what the shape of the deal is. And then at that point, we will be engaging with investors and looking to finalise that whole transaction. But the investor interest that we've seen in the very early stages, even before we were announced the transaction, the initial sort of soundings, if you like, are very, very positive. People are definitely looking for the right vehicle to invest in this sector.
That's excellent. And I guess upcoming news will be the publishing of the prospectus,
yes,
the closing of the IPO, and news on the company itself and its clinical trials.
Definitely, yes. I think people who are interested can follow Cannabo through their existing website and so on, and there will be news like that. And we will also be doing what we can to promote the sector in general, if you like, get people to understand what it is that medicinal cannabis. So when we come with the actual proposition, people are kind of warmed up for it, if you like.
And what do you think the expectations are of the growth of cannabis in the European market?
Well, I think it will take, as I mentioned before, it will take a different path perhaps to North America. I think that in general the European market is a little bit more conservative. I think we'll see perhaps a slower trajectory towards adult use, or what they sometimes call recreational cannabis. I think it will come, and I think that will mean that people will self-medicate as well as use it for recreational purposes. But our focus is not on that, really. Our focus is on the truly medicinal market, and also what we call the over-the-counter market, that is products not containing psychoactive components, THC, which can be sold right now effectively in many of the markets. So I think we'll see tremendous growth in the medicinal market, but from a low base. And we're already seeing quite significant volumes in the non-THC, the over-the-counter market. The lead market tends to have traditionally been Germany. I think we'll see further growth. We will see further growth there. We'll see quite a lot of non-THC business in the UK. We're also targeting Switzerland. But there's all of the European countries are looking at cannabis in the different ways, and we'll see those regulatory barriers move over the years, I'm sure.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Andy.
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for having me.
We look forward to hearing your news flow and watching the growth of the company as it progresses. Thank you for joining us on Blytheway Business News.